What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Once again, we are back for career mode, episode number 26 for the Canadian Grand Prix. Check out the last video if you haven't seen it already. We introduced this updated livery to the team, to the car, and I've got to say, it just looks absolutely banging with the carbon fiber, real-life sponsors, updated Marduk Motorsport livery, and the yellow mixed with the green. It just pops. So big ups to Sebi for sorting that one out for me. Unfortunately, I'm already bored of it, so we might have to get a new livery in for this race or the next one if I can stomach the patience to wait that long. Yes, I have changed the liveries quite a few times, I realize, and you guys have not been afraid to say that in the comments either, but I'm in a happy place with the car and the way it looks. But it must be said, on a serious note, we might be adding one or two more sponsors to the car if we can find the funding, if we continue to expand as a team, and that's something I do want to do. We need to level up that funding to really mix it with the likes of the top three teams. So that's a natural progression, natural part of F1, and Mark Webber, it's got to be said, he's been instrumental this season in really lifting this team on a driving standpoint, but his experience of developing the car and bringing his business know-how, his sponsors, his reputation has been invaluable to this team. So he does have a contract renewal coming up in a couple of weeks. So I'd be very keen to snap him up for the rest of this season. I have no reason to get rid of him. He's just been driving phenomenally. He's showed good pace. So we want to reward that with some loyalty. So that's where we're at with Mark Webber. In terms of upgrades, we did do a weight redistribution upgrade. We applied that just a minute or two ago, and that'll hopefully go on in a race or two's time. So that'll make the balance of the car a lot nicer. In terms of where we stand in the performance index, we are still P6. Yeah, P6. Best of the rest, pretty much. Mercedes, Alpine, Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, all light years ahead of us. And then the guys behind Alfa Romeo are a long way behind us. So we're really in a league of our own at this point. We really need to up our game to really break into that next echelon, that next league of F1 teams. So that's going to be the aim over the next 4 or 5 races if we can. Try and be competitive, try and be winning races by like Spa or Monza would be incredible. But we've got a lot of work to do between now and then to get that done. We've got to re-sign Mark, we've got to do some facility upgrades, and then hope that we can really pile on the upgrades that are going to make a sizable difference, and that's going to be coming from the chassis, which is lacking right now. Anyway, time for qualifying for Canada. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the series. If you are, make sure you leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content on F1 22. And also F1 Manager 22, as that's only a few weeks away now. So getting very excited about that series. That'll kick off on my Twitch. Link to that in the description. Regardless, away we go for qualifying for the Canadian Grand Prix. I'm expecting the McLarens to be very fast, as they have been in the last couple of episodes. It's really been a whirlwind for those guys. Fernando Alonso jumping ship at the right time. Robert Schwartzman getting drafted in as a rookie. Thrusted into a potentially championship battle with the likes of the Red Bulls and Ferraris. Max Verstappen still leads the championship. So although McLaren are on the back foot in terms of points, they have all the momentum, they have all the pace at this stage, and it's a case of just trying to catch them, really. So it's kind of like 2009 all over again, and Max Verstappen is Jensen Button, who's got off to this really early lead. So it'll be interesting to see if the McLarens can chase them down. Anyway, back to our fight, back to our battle. We got blocked a little bit by one of the Williams as we started our second flying lap. And we do improve by just over a tenth, maybe 2 tenths as we cross the line. 20 seconds to go in the session. We dip under the 1 minute 10s, which is good enough to get us through to Q2 at this stage. But I want to press on and see what else I can get out of this qualifying session. 2.5 tenths up as we approach the final chicane. And wasn't quite as good as my run on the last lap. Quite simply, my run out of that last chicane last lap was incredible. And it would have been really tough to kind of match that. As well, I was really low on battery, so the lower battery mode kind of kicked in, and we lost a bit of time on the run up to the line as well. But regardless, we are through to qualifying 2 and a lot closer to our teammate for a change, which is a welcome sight, it has to be said. Piastri misses out on Q2, as does Charles Leclerc in the Red Bull. Obviously not getting a lap in that car, which is quite devastating for their hopes of keeping McLaren at bay in the constructors. They are closing in very quickly in this front of the field battle. Anyway, it's Q2 time. We are both in the top 10, myself and Mark Webber. 20 seconds to go in the session, and we're seeing if we can better our time on a brand new set of soft compound tires. We're playing around with a differential. I've since learned that 50 diff is not the way to go in the dry, so I have a better understanding of where to place that now. 55, 60, and 65 seems to be my sweet spot, and it's funny, you know, because that's kind of where I was having it over the last few weeks and even month, where it was feeling nice. Oh, we've got Alonso up here inside, and we're in the bin. Very good. Alonso, I don't know if he was on a lap or not, but he has just absolutely ruined our final attempt here in qualifying, and we will see no further part in the rest of this session. Floor damage by virtue of that contact at the hairpin. Here's the replay. He goes up the inside. I think he is on a lap here. But really, he should have just left more space. He should have left more room for him to get a lap in. I don't know what... I just don't get the logic there. In the end, it's P12. Mark Webber progresses through to qualifying 3. Yeah, on the diff setting. It turns out I've been in the sweet spot all this time. When I was feeling nice, it coincided with me having 60 diff-ish. So I should have just trusted my instinct on that. Anyway, time for the race. Hopefully we have more luck.
Hello and welcome to the Ile Notre Dame once again for what promises to be another incredible Canadian Grand Prix at a fiercely competitive circuit where pole position can often be decided by less than 1/10 of a second. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. An immense lap from Fernando Alonso yesterday puts him on pole position, and Robert Schwartzman completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Norris, Kevin Magnussen and Hamilton, Sainz, Ocon, Webber and Sergio Perez, Ricciardo, Benjamin, Alex Albon and Latifi, Stroll, Gasly, Oscar Piastri and Mick Schumacher, Russell, Leclerc, Tsunoda and Guan Yu Zhou. With me today, of course, is Natalie Pinkham. Why don't we discuss McLaren? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within the team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do. And that has definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
All right, here we go for the Canadian Grand Prix. Nearing the halfway point of this season. We are rattling through it now. Unfortunately, still P12 on the grid, so no grid penalties for anyone, at least ahead of us, so we're going to have to fight our way through naturally in this field. In terms of the race strategy, I don't know if you've seen co-op or not, but we're going to do the Alex Gillen strategy. It seemed to work quite well for him in that race, so we're going to employ that as well. We're going to go medium soft. I think we have more tyre wear upgrades than what the co-op card does. So this should be a viable strategy. We just need to look after the rear tires, which is a lot easier said than done with the wheel spin on this game. We're going to lower the drag, I think, not in the first stop because we need the downforce to really get us through the corners, at least initially. But come maybe the second half of the race, where we don't really need the downforce, we might take a little bit of that off with the soft compound tires. The oversteer will be quite real, so there's no real need to have the extra downforce there. If I could take rear wing off in the pit stop, then I certainly would, to make us more of a threat. But here we go for the formation lap. I've enabled the broadcast formation lap. I think it just looks a lot more cinematic, and it gives you guys some lovely shots to kick off this race. Mark Webber still in P10 there. So we're going to be working together in this race, I imagine. Sergio Perez not getting off to a good qualifying, unless he got a grid penalty of sorts. But either way, it's nice to be in the same realm as our teammate. So hopefully we can work together and move forward and get some big points. Away we go for the Canadian Grand Prix. Not very nicely off the line. We get jumped by Alexander Albon as we head into turn 1. Latifi, I think, someone coming out of nowhere. I'm not too sure who it was on the left-hand side. It might be Stroll. But either way, it's 3 wide at turn 2 as we try and draw alongside Sergio Perez. He has the better drive traction. It is Lance Stroll, who was very quick in that initial start phase. We displace him back down to P13, back to where we started, but we quickly re-overtake Sergio Perez. We get up the inside, give him a nice little squeeze out, and that is us 1 spot away from the points. I can see Mark Webber making some moves up there. He's already moved up a couple of places in this Grand Prix. Here comes Sergio Perez, up the inside, into the hairpin. Whoa, we nearly run into the back of our countryman Daniel Ricciardo, and had to go a little bit wider than I initially wanted to. But we're able to hold on to the position, which is P11 at this stage. Watching on board with Sergio Perez, not making a move on us, thankfully. We've got Lando Norris into the pit lane, who's lost his left front end plate in the Ferrari. So, oh, here comes Perez up the inside. So much is going on. It's 4 wide down this back straight as we head up to the line. We're going to get up the inside of Daniel Ricciardo, maybe Carlos Sainz as well. Sainz goes for the dive bomb on Mark Webber, and I hope there's no front wing damage for either driver, especially our teammate. But in all that, we've got re-overtaken by Daniel Ricciardo. It's going to be side by side as we head into the middle sector. Ricciardo with the inside, but we have the inside for the second part of that chicane and manage to hold on. Here goes my teammate up the inside of Sainz. Ferrari not having a good start to this race, it seems. And I think Webber is going to win out here with the inside heading in. No, he doesn't get it. My money was on Webber there. If that was me, I would have gone on the power nice and early and squeezed out that Ferrari for all it's worth. Anyway, Ocon, terrible run through the chicane. The AI and running side by side anywhere at Canada just doesn't work out well. They bleed time, so it's imperative we kind of get away from these guys. Round the outside of Ocon, we do have the more flowing run at the hairpin. We are able to get on the power earlier, but do we have the straight line speed to match? Computer says no. The computer says no. Look at that straight line speed from the Alpine with no slipstream. That is insane. This is what I'm trying to compete with here, guys. These guys are nuts. I'm running 27, 24 wings, which is maybe lower mid levels of downforce. So I think we're running less downforce than the AI. We're still getting left for dead a little bit, but I don't really know what the Alpine is running in terms of drag reduction, in terms of engine power upgrades. It's all a bit ambiguous, to be honest. But here comes Ricciardo round the outside into the last chicane. That's never going to work. And we retain P9. We are running a little low on fuel. We did underfuel the car, as we always do on this game. But I've found lately that we've been ending up these races with way too much fuel. We often end up with +1, +2 laps. And so I've taken out a little bit of extra fuel today. But it seems the problem is amplified by high fuel consumption, it seems. It's not, the fuel is not being recovered as well as it normally is. So we're in a bit of a pickle here, guys. We're going to have to hope for a safety car, but also do some fuel saving, which we're going to start doing very soon. Webber and Ocon fighting quite hard on this 13th lap. We actually managed to get within DRS range, and as soon as we got within DRS, then they started battling, and all of a sudden we're on them again. So this could be a good chance for us to grab a couple of positions, if not tuck into the slipstream and just save some fuel potentially. So we'll see how Webber's exit is here. We're getting dangerously close to the pit window. No one comes in on this occasion, so we'll just bide our time for now. We are going to stretch it along like lap 19, 20, 21, and then go to the soft compound tyres, depending on how the tyre wear is. I'm imagining these guys are going from mediums to hards. Some people have started on softs, but the vast majority are on mediums and will be going to hard. So there's a big advantage to be had later on in the race. We just need to be patient and get our fuel position in a good spot so we can kind of push for the back end of this race. But as the laps wear on, I'm worried that our ability to push will be severely limited by the fuel, unfortunately. This one's just kind of caught us off guard, it must be said. Anyway, Hamilton is into the pit lane. for a set of hard compound tyres. We are still out there on our mediums.
Okay, information on Sainz. Okay, they're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Okay, problem for Sainz, and he's like 10 seconds up the road on the minimap, so if that's a problem which persists for the rest of the race, then that could be another one for us in this Grand Prix. Here comes Sergio Perez again up the inside into the hairpin. He's been threatening these last couple of laps, but we are resisting at this stage. We don't want to let him go, because if he starts battling those ahead, then he can really hold us up. But they are into the pit lane, and we don't need to worry about them anymore. We can get on with our own pace and kind of our own rhythm as well. In comes Kevin Magnussen. He's been absolutely on fire lately with his performances. He's been up there mixing it with the top 3, the top 5, very consistently the last couple of races. So fair play for really outperforming the likes of Ocon, who in the Alpine has been, more closer to us in the last couple of races. Anyway, everyone has stopped in this race with the exception of ourselves. We now run in the podium positions. Magnussen is overtaking us with DRS. There's no real point fighting that. We're going to hopefully stick with him and get some DRS ourselves, but unfortunately, Canada's got a double DRS zone, which the DRS gets activated from this point here. So even if you're behind someone for the start-finish straight, you won't get the DRS unless you were already behind them heading into that. So yeah, I didn't get DRS on that second straight, and it meant that basically Magnussen was able to get away, and that exercise of trying to stick with him, getting his slipstream, getting his DRS was a little bit pointless. But either way, didn't hold us up. Hamilton got past us briefly, and we are now into the pit lane for our soft compound tyres. We stretched these tyres quite far, to be honest. We've done a really good job of looking after them. So hopefully the undercut has kept us somewhat close as we rejoin on the circuit. Good pit stop from the boys. It'll be P12 with a lot more up for grabs. There are so many people in this next group of cars. It's just down to us now with our better pace, with our better tyres, to go out there and earn back the positions we are fighting for in this race. This is a big train of cars. Perez, Ricciardo, Webber, Leclerc, all on hard compound tyres, and a lot of laps remaining to get the most out of this race. Also, Carlos Sainz, with that car issue, is falling into this train. I think he's dragging one of the Alpines with him. He's fighting away with Ocon just up the road. You can see they're side by side. We are rejoining the back of this train. Leclerc is next, and he's actually going to be the hardest guy to overtake in this entire train. He's in the fastest car. He started pretty much near the back, and yeah, we're going to have to do an absolute wonder job here to get in front of a Red Bull, which is so quick in a straight line, in a DRS train as well. We absolutely punch it out of the last chicane, and we might be able to go up the inside into turn 1. We do, late under brakes, and we take back P11 in this Grand Prix. Here's the replay. Really nice run out of the last chicane. Sometimes the AI are a little bit hesitant in a train like this, especially at that corner, and we caught him napping up the inside and into P11. Hopefully, the overtake on our teammate should be very simple. Hopefully we can do some multi-21 if Mark is okay with that, which I don't think he will be. I think there's going to be some Vietnam flashbacks coming here with Mark Webber. Anyway, which way are we going to go? We will take the inside. Doesn't make it too difficult for us there, but didn't make it super easy either. So we'll take that into P10, points paying position. Ricciardo and Perez are next, and I'm happy with the progress we're making in this DRS train. Sometimes it's actually very easy to get stuck in a scenario like this. We have gone with lowish drag to make us potent in a straight line to overtake these guys. So we're doing the best job we can. Unfortunately, Ocon is getting away in this train of cars. He's got past Carlos Sainz, and now Sainz is battling with Perez. Holds up Ricciardo very nicely, but we lose all of our momentum on the exit of the corner. Nearly 3 wide into the hairpin. We go up the inside. Maybe Ricciardo leaves the door open. That is a rookie error. P9. Oh, and Webber's got him as well. Lovely move from Webber to follow me through in the Marduk Motorsport car. We got 2 cars in the points, which was our intention. Now we need Webber to follow us through and get Carlos Sainz as well. then we'll absolutely be flying. Oh, we might be able to get Perez here, who gets absolutely hung out to dry by the Ferrari. Get a better exit. Drag race down to the line and turn 1. There's 9 laps to go in this race, and we're putting ourselves in the box seat to get some big points in this Canadian Grand Prix. Here's the replay. Oh, it's Ricciardo having a go at Webber. At the same time, we got past Sergio Perez. Bit of contact at turn 1. I think Webber threw up the hand of frustration. He's going to have to hold the outside if he wants to hang on to that points-paying position. Ricciardo up the inside. Oh, my word, he absolutely sent it there. Ricciardo gets the spot back, unfortunately. So Webber is going to have to get his elbows out. And he actually has got back in front of Ricciardo off camera there. So I'm not too sure what happened there. But a little bit of beef between all the Aussies at this point of the race. Where is Piastri to join the action? Meanwhile, we have a McLaren out of this race. Not for the first time, but for the second time in a row, Robert Schwartzman has retired from P2 in this race with only a handful of laps to go in a Grand Prix. Once again, denying McLaren of a 1-2 finish in this season of career mode. McLaren could be winning the Constructors already if they shored up their reliability. It has been their biggest, it's been their Achilles heel. You can tell that's where they put all their development into. They're not working on the durability. They're going straight up for performance to get those race wins, to get those championships, and just chancing it with the reliability of the engines. Thankfully, it's not been for Alonso. If it just keeps up with Schwartzman's car, maybe they'll be okay. As long as they can secure the drivers for Alonso and then pick up the other Constructors' points where they can, but they really need to shore that up. Anyway, 4 laps to go in this race, and although we're so close to Carlos Sainz, we are so far away because the fuel has been a limiting factor. We haven't been able to save it. We're still 0.3 of a lap down, and there's 2 laps to go. We've had to do some serious fuel saving to get to the end here, guys. It's really frustrating, I know, because the numbers have been so different this season. The car has been so conservative on its fuel all season. We turned down the fuel numbers a little bit for this race, and it's absolutely punishing us. Perez gets back through on us. Leclerc nearly gets us as well. We're having to lift just to make sure we can get to the end of this race. That is how dire it is. It's still 0.3 of a lap down. Massive lifts into corners now just to get to the end. If we crack on at full pace here, guys, we will not get points. We will get overtaken by Leclerc and Webber on the last lap, probably down the massively long back straight there. So this is an operation which needs to be done. We are giving up positions, but hopefully with all this lifting and coasting, it'll mean we're able to secure P9, P10 potentially. These guys are so closely wrapped behind us. We're going to have a massive lift here. Leclerc gets caught up behind us. He tries to go around the outside. Gets a horrible run, and Webber is actually going to go right around the outside and take back P9 in this Grand Prix. So Marduk Motorsport absolutely working together here. Fernando Alonso wins the Canadian Grand Prix. I'm nearly out of breath here, guys. This race has been absolutely incredible. McLaren somehow are fighting their way into this championship fight. What a sight it is to see. Anyway, massive lift for us into the hairpin. I don't think we're able to keep P8 in this race. It will go to Webber. The points for the team will still carry on in this race. We just need one more big lift into the final chicane, and we might be okay. We're trying to use all the overtake we can to keep Leclerc at bay. He's got DRS. We don't, unfortunately, which has been massively costly for us. Leclerc gets through for P9. We try and get a better exit, but we are out of fuel. Up to the line, completely out of it, and we just finish ahead of Ricciardo.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what to say. The fuel was fine in previous races, and I thought that would be fine too. But clearly we got it wrong.
A beautiful performance from McLaren today. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out of the track was: speed. It sounds like an awfully reductive statement, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
As the winners make their way up to the podium, one can only imagine the celebrations that will take place at McLaren tonight. Congratulations to everyone on the team, securing the win and proving they're a force to be reckoned with out on the track.
Boom. Another win for Fernando Alonso. That's at least 2 on the trot now. I'm starting to lose count. But, yeah, McLaren get themselves to the top of the grid on the performance index. And a good car, good driver, they will always come to the top. Kevin Magnussen, good job as well to get on the podium once again in that Alpine. I've got to say, the pace between ourselves and Alpine, I have been making a lot of comparisons, and it's been very similar. The difference is they are qualifying a lot higher up the field than us. Also, the fastest laps were bugged for some reason on lap 1. Everyone did 30-second lap times. I think halfway around the lap, the lap counter reset for some reason. So, yeah, it was a bit weird. I thought I had the fastest lap with a 32-second lap time. And then we see at the ends, it was Alonso who got a 24-second lap time. So, yep, I'll be seeing that lap. Alonso with the Grand Slam, pole position, fastest lap, race win. Absolutely lovely stuff. So, yeah, it's a point in this season of career mode. We lose out to Mark Webber a little bit. He gets, what was it, P8 in that race, so 4 points. Edges closer to us, which is actually nice to see. To have a teammate which is challenging me, which is keeping me on my toes, and also contributing to the team and lifting us up when, you know, I'm not necessarily getting the results that I want. At least he's on the other end delivering for the team, and it's not just a one-man show like it has been in a lot of other games on a lot of other career modes. Mark Webber is delivering the goods so far, it must be said. But there we go, guys. That has been this episode of Career Mode for today. The Canadian Grand Prix, pretty crazy one in the end. We fought our way through, even from P12 on the grid, looking good for maybe a P6 at best in that one. Unfortunately, we just miscalculated on fuel, so we'll do better on the next one. But qualifying, crucially, was a lot better today. Could have made it into Q3 if we managed that session a little bit better. I think we certainly had the pace to do so, but it would have taken a really good lap to get there. But the pace is improving, the team is improving. Consistency seems to be there, which is nice to see, at least in the races. We just need to get more points. We need to get more upgrades on the car and on the facilities, and good things will come. So I'm liking the progression. We're going in the right direction, which is the main thing. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time for another episode of Career Mode. I believe it's Austria next, and I really do like that place, so I'm expecting big things. Hopefully I can deliver for you guys. Until the next video, I'll see you next time.